Nautilus over for Shenyi, such a strong engage.
Exactly, and the reason that you first picked that is to hopefully threaten the denial of Zeri, because Nautilus is so good into it with the point and click. But meanwhile, 100 Thieves followed up here with a Lee Sin. I love something early and with CC that can just beat Lee Sin like a Rek'Sai, a Volibear in those matchups. And Lee Sin is so popular right now. Yes, perfect here from Spica. I think it's a huge pick. The Rek'Sai or the Volibear are really the strongest champions to pick into Lee Sin right now, because you can win the 1v1s and you have such good early game power that you can try and snowball against him. And with so many junglers early picking the Lee Sin here, hoping for some big highlight plays for the team, I think this is actually pretty good response from TSM. I will say though, yes, we finally get this Zeri plus Renata combo. This was denied to us in the previous matchup because of the Renata ban, but this bottom lane is very, very offensive. And if you do get down there with something like a Volibear to gank them early, they are so vulnerable. Renata is definitely vulnerable to ganks early on, and we'll see if TSM want to pressure that way, because I mean, we've had both bottom lanes early locked in and jungle matched as well. Now it's just down to purely solo lane matchups. So all matchups here are going to be 100 Thieves trying to protect their first solo lane pick, which they will blind, which will probably be mid lane here. Protecting here a little bit with a Akali. That's an interesting one. I wonder if they're just actually going to go some generic standard control mates here for Abbeddage, and then having the counter pick there ready for Ssumday later, trying to force TSM to reveal first. And there you go. We talked about it in the intro, but the Tryndamere from Ssumday absolutely blasted them last time around. So good bans here from TSM. They know they're probably going to have to blind pick the top lane matchup there on the second round picks from their side. So they're protecting Huni a little bit.
Another mid laner eliminated as a possibility for Takeover, who does lean towards those assassins if you look like times past. I am very excited to see what he ends up playing.
And so some of the other really blind pickable top laners are Gnar and Graves. Those ones are generically pretty good, don't have a lot of excessive counter picks into them. Okay, Jace is banned. Guess what? It's Gnar. That's what they want to blind pick. Gnar... Typically, if you're not Summit, does lose the Jace matchup, and that is a pretty telling ban. That one, the only other one would be like Aurelia if you wanted to go really, really into kill pressure. So again, yeah, 100 Thieves, they blind pick the mid lane here so they can save counter pick for Ssumday, forcing a blind out of TSM. Again, we saw the Vex counter into Ahri, no surprise there, and there's your Gnar. Okay.
And Gnar locked in here. Last pick for TSM. We know what our mid lane matchup is going to be. Ahri, another Vex here, taken by Takeover. And then 100 Thieves with one last lock-in for them to go. They know what their bot lane's looking at. It's just what they want to counter with here in the top lane against Huni on that Gnar pick. And it's Graves. Second time that we will be seeing Graves for Ssumday, having just recently played the pick during the last game last week.
Yeah, and a really strong performance from him, by the way. This man has been an absolute monster for 100 Thieves. So even though it's not as exciting as something, a kill lane like Aurelia, it is effective. And we shall see who gets the push up on top side. Meanwhile, mid lane, let's see about that Vex counter pick number 2 here into the Ahri. Can Takeover have as effective of a game as Palafox just did in the same matchup?
And TSM need to take over this game entirely if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. 100 Thieves looking to make a statement here in the last game of the day.
A lion!
Ah, yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a Red Bull.
Red Bull? Still, you'll never be faster than a lion.
I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just faster than you.
Red Bull gives you wings.
What is going on?
I can't afford streaming anymore, so...
Sure you can. State Farm has rates that fit your budget.
Oh, good. Because some true crime would be nice.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
Both teams at the ready. TSM versus 100 Thieves. We know what the lineups look like. Who are you favoring? What do you think are the win conditions we should be looking out for on either side?
I mean, you kind of have to come into this one favoring 100 Thieves. They are on a 5-game win streak, positioned in 3rd in the LCS, looking to keep a strong playoffs position for themselves. And honestly, they have been on a very nice upswing here. Little improvements adding up over the course of the last 5 games here to put them in a very nice position heading into playoffs, despite a rocky start to Spring Split for themselves. Meanwhile, TSM also on an upward trajectory here. So they really need to grab this win. If they lose this game for TSM, it will be a historic loss because it will eliminate them from contention of playoffs. They have never been denied entry into playoffs. See about this level 1 invade though, and they will be denied entry into the jungle. Vision cleared out immediately, and that means Ssumday will hit level 2 on the first wave as well. Experience for early wards is actually quite big for solo laners. And if we look at where the junglers are starting, no surprise. Volibear here, Spica from Champ Select. He is going to be looking towards bottom side of the map. You want to try and gank Renata early on, start burning those summoner spells. See if you can get advantage there for tactical, set up on the Kaisa to try and carry. Meanwhile, Closer has eyes on either mid or bottom, honestly. He could look to just try and clear top to bottom and then cover bottom side. But the Ahri Vex matchup, as we just saw, is definitely volatile. And you know, you can also attack Vex early on because while you do turn into a very nice Ahri counter, early on, the detriment is that you are kind of vulnerable. You don't have escapes for yourself, and a charm, you know, can actually turn the matchup around the other way. But he could also kind of hover towards bottom side, go for a top red quadrant clear into bottom scuttle grab.
It's the latter portions of the game that we're really looking towards Vex to punish the dashes and things that the Ahri has. And we'll have to see where both of these junglers decide to bring their power first. Spica having cleared out completely that top side jungle and now moving down here towards bot. FBI dropping ahead of time the ward here in Tribush so they can make sure to be aware of any big old bears that come on in.
And these are both good words from both teams right here, by the way. Because of the volatility of that mid lane we talk about, both of them investing their vision to make sure junglers who started on the top side won't be passing through for an early gank. The vision now expiring for 100 Thieves, though. And Ssumday doing some work on Huni early on quite nicely with the dash in here on Graves.
Both of those players being a focal point in recent victories. Ssumday having a very nice split for himself, and Huni really leaning into that veteran position that he has been, well, given when it comes to the entirety of this roster. Spica picking up the scuttle here. Some vision acquired. Closer in the area, but this allows Shenyi going in for a hook onto FBI, but immediately offset.
And so both junglers clashing here. Vision given over, but Closer did a full clear, so level 4 on Lee Sin, looking to still make moves mid.
Oh, and he is here.
Nice.
A nice charm onto Vex, the Orb of Deception for the additional damage. A nice hit from Closer, first blood onto Abbeddage.
Oh man, that is really rough for Takeover, and I feel for him on the Vex there because he's pushing up and he feels secure because of all the vision that Spica just got towards the river. So you feel like you're really protected across this line from the river, having Scuttle Crab. Spica just also blew the Scryer's Bloom over Closer. But Closer, a really creative gank here, goes just up through the ledge of mid lane and still forces the gank onto Takeover, and Abbeddage goes with the Flash Charm. Once you hit that Flash Charm, the Vex is dead. If you flash afterwards, then it's just gonna be a follow from Closer. So Takeover does, at the very least, hold onto his flash on Vex, so the repeat gank won't be as powerful, but here it is from Closer. Nicely done, as he knows where the vision is from TSM, and it's all about if Abbeddage hits that Charm Flash, then you catch the Vex, and they're able to follow it up. Nice ward hop into Q follow-up there from Closer. Pretty easy, and he still has Flash to work with.
And now hovering over towards this top side, there is a ward that Huni will see for a moment's time, but now right in that smoke screen, temporarily taken away. Hopping on over Closer's head, uses the flash into the tower, but Closer, he goes for it and he takes it.
Yeah, generally when you're ganking Gnar, you give him space towards his tower so he can't jump on your head, but Closer lets him jump on his head so he can get the cripple slow there down on him with the E, and then Q into the minions, doesn't even need to hit it because he's still got his ward off, and Closer gets 2 for 100 Thieves, kills both solo lanes, and TSM will get payment in the form of a dragon, but it is a very early lead for the solo lanes of 100 Thieves off of the back of Closer. Full clear Lee Sin into a reverse mid and top gank from him.
Ooh, lad, about 1,000 gold. That was now just offset by that dragon that you just said. So Spica making sure to get some advantage. A lot of TSM positioned around this mid lane. Takeover having previously pushed up the wave, have some control wards as well, but Closer throwing out the Q. He smelt something fishy.
Yeah, and they had good communication because the bottom lane, 100 Thieves is saying, hey, they've got a roam timer here for Shenyi. So be wary, and Closer walking around getting vision for Abbeddage here in mid lane. Mid jungle working pretty well around vision thus far in the game.
And for TSM side, one thing that we're looking at too is, yes, the jungler in Spica, but Shenyi as well, because in some of their victories, it's the improvement upon their synergy as that jungle support duo that has allowed them to pull, even from the depths of some pretty heavy gold leads, or gold deficits rather, for TSM. So looking at how they can hold that down.
Interesting possibility of a skirmish here because 100 Thieves are moving their bottom lane over for the Scuttle Crab fight. And they're going to secure it for Closer. Bottom lane will be pushed in though, so TSM now get their turn at the timer for Tactical and Shenyi. But Scuttle Crab acquired 400 Thieves. It's a small objective, but it is a decent mid-game objective here with the extra vision and gold given over to the side of 100 Thieves and to Closer, and then passing through here to help Abbeddage push out so he can get his purchase off.
Still a bit of time before some of these ultimates become available as well. Spica sitting on level 5, Tactical just hitting it now for him to be able to go deep into some of these fights. But 100 Thieves, with the pressure that they have had and able to move into enemy jungle territory to start taking some of these camps away. But down bot, Shenyi facing a bit of poke. Tactical throwing down, but it's just some poking back and forth.
Yeah, nice disengage there from Huhi. Moved him back out after he lands the CC. And it is going to be a successful blue steal from 100 Thieves. Closer pushes mid with Abba, and then Abba repays him by moving in with the mid pressure with that Ahri. Very threatening with ultimate available. The pick potential there, even into something like a Volibear that has ults you can channel to jump out, make yourself go unstoppable, is very real. And so successful transition so far for the 100 Thieves. TSM though, they were paid in one dragon, early dragon for themselves. And remember, CLG also had the Vex into Ahri counter pick in the last game, and also had the early dragons that stacked up. So maybe it's kind of fitting if TSM want to follow a route similar to CLG and follow a similar game plan. They can invest in dragons, and maybe they can come out with some big Vex engages later on.
If it works, it works. And we'll see if they can make that happen. But 100 Thieves, they don't really have to opt into anything currently. Abbeddage moments ago had a decent amount of vision around him that was allowing him to just stay up and farm here. They're both evening things out. Some of that now has since expired though. So TSM, on the other hand, playing a bit safely, getting some of these resets off to bring that power to the lanes. Rift Herald having already spawned. And you notice that Huhi is in the vicinity to see what TSM want to throw at them.
Yeah, both teams know they're on support roam timers. Nobody's in the bottom lane. So each support revealing themselves, clearing out vision right now. And it's looking like we're going to get a banger at this Rift Herald.
Huhi going in. Oh, Shenyi right in the center of it all. A charm directly from Takeover and exhausted immediately upon entering Closer. A little bit dangerous for him, but it's Spica that loses his life. The trade back onto Closer. Both of the jungles eliminated, but the mid laner taken down. Takeover gone as well, but the hits are too good. Blast Cone for some of that separation, but FBI Speedy gets more shots in. Still, survival from a couple members of TSM, but it's the 2 for 3.
Yeah, and with that map advantage, they will also... Wow, I thought they would also pick up the Rift Herald. You don't actually need a jungler to kill Rift Herald because so much of it is anyone hitting the exposed eye and the timer for the exposed eye, but they opt to send both Ssumday and FBI to go clear waves, and they're pushing out top and mid. Maybe during this replay, they'll have everybody return to pick up that Rift Herald for the reward, but here's another look at the engage. And the biggest single thing that I want to point out is level 6 advantage for supports. This is something we have talked about since Rift Herald was introduced. Because the timer for Rift Herald is so close to the support roam timers, and the one that sticks around and gets the extra experience for level 6 has such a massive effect on the team fights. This one was a lot too about the flash engage there and getting that burst down, but level 6 difference for supports is really big when you're looking at Rift Herald fights. That one, good job there with the flash engage and being able to get the early health lead. And once you have the early health lead, taking down enemy support there with your initiation basically, and the no hesitation from Huhi and from 100 Thieves on that chase down were quite big. In the aftermath though, the Rift Herald actually went to TSM, so huge pushback for them.
On the way towards this top side too to take down these turrets. 4 members of TSM, everybody but Takeover in the vicinity, delaying that Rift Herald dropping too, so they can assure it's a full takedown wave here on the backside too. So 100 Thieves though, it's keeping it even.
It's actually massive for TSM. That comeback on the swing here on the reset is a lot of gold. They cut this gold lead way down. This time it's going to be them paying in dragons though. And because they sent all 4 people up to the top side to bully down that first turret bonus, they do give up 1 turret to FBI and the dragon trade over. So dragons going to get evened out here, but still a nice little cutback on the gold there for TSM, getting right back up after a successful team fight from 100 Thieves.
And Abbeddage on that back did finish off the Everfrost. We are on dragon number 3, so it's 3 for 3 in our games of Hextech Drake coming on through.
All right, let's see about the push out here, because early Hullbreaker means that Ssumday won the race. It's always about who can finish the completion on Hullbreaker first, even with ranged champions. Everybody's crying about the nerfs to Hullbreaker. It's still extremely effective. It got taken down 50% basically on the passive for ranged champions. However, still very much worthwhile. Ssumday himself showed us last weekend. 100 Thieves, that was a big part of their kind of 5-game win streak that they are riding in the LCS, was him still having faith in that combination, even on a ranged champion, and still doing so much. I can't overstate it actually at all. No matter how big you go, Ssumday is been the man for 100 Thieves this split, and looks like he's doing so once again. Pushing in Huni, massive CS lead, got his Hullbreaker first. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, you don't have to spend extra resources to topside. They can use them bot.
Nope, you flash on down, you finish off the kill. Closer with the emotes to follow. The most important part in his play today, it seems.
Yeah, Closer, magnificent. We mentioned the first 2 early kills. Meanwhile, it's a pick onto Spica in their jungle as he's trying to steal away Raptors. And the solo laners for 100 Thieves are saying, don't worry, Closer, you make your bottom side play. We will protect your camps. They fight Spica, they force him off of it. Now he doesn't have ult to escape. He might have to flash.
Yeah, through the gate, Closer comes on by, and Huni did push up that wave recently, so a little bit of assistance for TSM if necessary. But you got to worry about what 100 Thieves bring on through. A little bit to the side is where one goes, but everybody goes into Berserk. Shenyi actually throwing down the stopwatch in the process, the handshake to pull him right back on in. Abbeddage getting another kill under his belt, and they're still going for it. A nice lockdown from Closer onto Takeover, but he's retreating towards Spica. Now in enemy territory, Tactical is here with the Acathia Rain, so that hits pretty hard, and Closer knows to back off.
Yeah, good defense there for 100 Thieves. And once again, another punish. Now the gold lead, 3.3K. Abbeddage getting extremely fed, gets another kill on this Ahri, further increasing that danger of the burst. You know, as well with the extra vision advantage that 100 Thieves have been able to set up here, now TSM have to worry about all these spots that Abbeddage can set up on Ahri, looking for picks on any of these squishier members.
14.5 minutes means the teleports have officially been unleashed. More plays to be had across the map. That lead that Abbeddage has accrued has definitely been felt, though Takeover recently able to finish his own mythic as well. And even some of the defensive stats on the side of 100 really starting to rise, so going to be a bit more difficult for TSM to poke them down.
And 100 Thieves, you can see here, they're using their bot lane push to overload topside. So they push out bottom lane first, and then send every other member here up to topside of the map. Zeri pushes in mid, and they can all collapse from every single direction towards this top tower. They use the Hex Gate. They literally have all 5 top. TSM will try and race them on bottom side. So bottom turret will be raced here with Volibear in exchange for this top side for 100 Thieves. But 100 Thieves can then also rotate over. They don't have to stop. They've got the early lead in pushing power.
Sticking around for a bit of time to make sure they capitalize upon that pushing power, putting the wards all throughout that enemy jungle. So that's going to be a decent chunk that TSM will have to use to clear that out and move more effectively across and see what they can do against this onset.
And we lead up to dragon number 3. It's not the most important dragon, 50 seconds out, and no team even close to Dragon Soul point. So is it going to be a huge point, but should be 100 Thieves setting up first. Since they were able to overload top side and get this well in advance of Dragon, it allows Ssumday a long lane to push in and try and use that advantage he has on Graves. He has very, very good sustain, and his Unleashed Teleport is now off cooldown. The last second just ticks over. So 100 Thieves pushing out on both side lanes, but TSM move into the jungle and get their deep vision first.
And 20 seconds on the clock before the spawning here of this dragon. So TSM clearing everything out. They have 4 members down here with Huni's teleport available should some kind of skirmish break out. But because of that, 100 Thieves, they're wanting to make sure the pressure is still pushing over towards mid to keep Tactical at bay as long as possible. The dragon now spawned right in the middle of this bush. Spica now is the center of attention, has to crash on away, but Shenyi also brought down low. Closer going into stasis immediately upon the route that has been taken by Renata. Glasc, very effective, but Takeover just so dangerous here. Closer immediately onto Tactical, getting the trade back and forth. 4 eliminated for TSM. Only a jungler lost for 100 Thieves. Huni on the retreat, so it's eyes back onto the dragon for the red side team.
Yeah, it's a disaster for TSM. Huni's gonna hexgate over. All he can do is watch as the 100 Thieves will take the dragon after already taking the lives of the rest of his teammates. And it is now 8 kills for Abbeddage on this Ahri, collecting every single one. Here's another look at it. Spica in the river here first, and Shenyi's kind of in position, but they don't have DPS around. So while they get the start on this fight, Hui's got a stopwatch. And it's actually DPS lead for 100 Thieves. When Closer goes in, kicks him back, doesn't quite hit Tactical, but the stopwatch critical in keeping him alive. And then once he gets out, he gets the Renata revive on him. And he goes in, he gets the reset off of killing Nautilus there. So he's able to chase down on Tactical, and Tactical has to flash to even get that 1 kill for TSM. As Ssumday teleported in, 100 Thieves able to bully them out, take the dragons. Round 2 though on Rift Herald.
Rift Herald getting pulled out, and TSM, they feel the threat of 100 Thieves. 4.6k gold for them, so they will take this objective. And that's a little bit of momentum that was starting to build to contest for TSM that has now been broken.
Welcome back to the LCS, Abbeddage. He has had a slow spring split, but a resurgence during this ride that 100 Thieves have gone on, this spree that they've gone on. If they win this game, if they eliminate TSM from contention for entering playoffs, this will be 6-game win streak, much stronger performances from the 100 Thieves heading towards playoffs and really trying to reclaim what was theirs last year. They are still defending champions, and with each successive game, they have begun to look more like that.
There has been so much focus on the criticism part of their play because of their championship status, but the streak that they have has put them so much in contention within the standings against C9, against TL. Still a chance for them to rise all the way to the top before entering those playoffs. And what a way to try and do it when you've got Abbeddage popping off on the Ahri, and off of the power that they have accumulated, should be able to take this mid turret.
Meanwhile, Abbeddage, man of the hour here for 100 Thieves. He's got so much money, 700 gold bounty on his head. He pushes out bottom, and it's easy rotation over for the rest of the members of 100 Thieves. Takeover is trying to get top pushing for TSM, does have his Unleashed teleport ready, but there's no deep ward to be able to flank on Vex. So keep an eye on the ultimate here from Takeover. See if he can come up with one of those really big comeback Vex engages for TSM, and see if they can try and combo their way out of this hole that 100 Thieves have put them in. Because if it's not a really nice combo of Vex plus Gnar getting a great engage there, then it's going to be hard for TSM to brute force a win in a team fight. And if they can't brute force a win in a team fight, 100 Thieves continue to split them apart.
And TSM right now spending a lot of time just keeping Ssumday away from continuing to push over on that mid wave. And now up onto the turret, so they want to be able to trade this back. 100 Thieves, in the meantime, just want to get a little bit of that reset for their bot laners to bring that power on through. Baron officially spawned, still over a minute and a half before that next Drake spawns, and still a heavy gold lead to try to break through if you're on the TSM side, with some mythics still needing completion.
They got to rally. Jat's really got to squeeze now if he wants his theory for TSM making it into playoffs to actually come true, because 100 Thieves are doing their best to shut out TSM. Objective bounties are on the table, though, so the hopes for TSM really hinge on that Wombo play. A big play from Takeover plus Huni has to be the start of it. I mean, Tactical is starting to accrue items, but it's really a scaling game for Kaisa. He's now level 11, so he's starting to bring some threat. But 100 Thieves, I mean, the threat is already there. Everybody is basically on 2 items for 100 Thieves, and they can really fight their way out of it, defending these neutral objectives. You can see it in them trying to deny any sort of vision to TSM. Dragon number 3 should be fairly simple for 100 Thieves to collapse on. Shenyi actually getting collapsed on in the river.
Knock up to try
Okay.
and capitalize upon. Closer goes back in, though. Into stasis, Shenyi goes, but in the backline, Tactical has been blasted, so a lot of the damage no longer available for TSM. Kick goes on to Spica. Spica goes on down. Takeover zooming on in to take down Closer, but they are still at the player deficit. The gun damage do strong here, and Shenyi is just a few shots away from Ssumday dredge line to close some of this distance. But in the end, it's 100 Thieves out on top in the fight and looking good. Baron available for the taking.
Ssumday throwing up the sad bees for the TSM fans. All right, let's take another look at it. 100 Thieves, they see Shenyi into the river, and they are like, that is illegal. This is our river. This is the 100 Thieves river. Shenyi, once again, the target. Closer, chunked to 50%, but the collapse from 100 Thieves is huge. Huhi lays the Renata ultimate over this wide swath of the river, and the 8-kill Ahri jumps in to finish off these kills, gets the reset, and even though Takeover can get the 1 snipe for TSM, it's a drop in the bucket. 100 Thieves make good on their promise. Here we go. Dragon number 2 for TSM would be 300-400 Thieves if they can get it. TSM actually forcing quickly.
Now, Abbeddage using the Hex Gate to get over towards the back for a little bit of surrounding action, and now TSM are rattled out of this. Soul point acquired for 100 Thieves. Now, Abbeddage is still going deep for some of this additional intel. Charm to 1, but you don't really want to follow that. Just trying to draw away so that 100 can push down this mid lane.
Yes, and they have no reason to stop. Mid lane gets annihilated. FBI here, able to clean it up while Ssumday goes topside to both loot the enemy jungle, but as well get that top wave pushing. And you can see Abbeddage on the bottom side with Ahri is waiting for him. He's waiting in this bottom brush for a kill. Nobody from TSM is going to extend themselves, though. There's no chance anybody walks outside of their base, and so he eventually goes to pick up the wave, and they should wait on the next one to try and sync it up, so bottom and top hit at the same time. During this waiting period, though, the Baroned up cannon will do enough work to take the tower to 50%.
And Ssumday, who has been super comfy, side lane pushing, is now joined by the majority of his team. Everyone but Abbeddage not getting that chance to get that kill on the bot side means he will usher the wave over here towards mid. The range of 100 Thieves reigning strong when they can take down this inhibitor turret and turn their eyes towards the inhibitor itself. Another hook in, the crash down, Closer, safeguard back towards Huhi, so he stays alive despite being chunked down fairly low. Knock up onto FBI in the back line from that dredge, or right now for the depth charge rather, from Shenyi. So an imperative ultimate utilized from TSM. The onslaught so strong from 100 Thieves here means they can take 2 inhibitors and then move elsewhere.
The TSM chants get fainter and fainter as the game goes on. 25 minutes into the game, and it's an 11,500 gold lead for the Thieves.
That's a big one, that's for sure. TSM, it's feeling like that itch of having to be somewhat on the last stand. 100 Thieves with this Baron push are still going through, only 22 seconds on it. Charm directly goes into the stopwatch from Shenyi, but way over on the opposite side, Huni getting bailed out effectively. Ssumday into stasis he goes as well. A good old knockdown onto one little big old bug means that Tactical is out of it, and the rest of 100 Thieves just have a few more hits to go on to Huni. Abbeddage flashing on forward, but it's answered by the flash from Huni, who eventually falls. It's Takeover making the last stand here for TSM. They'll take down this turret eventually, but right now they're just feeling good about the push that they have been making.
They certainly are, and 100 Thieves looking to extend their win streak to 6 games here on the first day of Super Week.
Third inhibitor down as well will get those double supers, and emphasizing that nearly 13k gold lead that 100 Thieves have accrued. It feels like such control from them across this map.
Oof, and TSM are going to be given more time to sit and wallow in this huge deficit. I like the angle here. You've got to go for some sort of play. You know, they're going for a flank play. They're so far behind. They have no time to wait, or else the supers are just going to destroy them. So they try and pull out the flank. Unfortunate for them, those TSM or 100 Thieves see it coming because they had the extra ward. They get the initial burst onto Huhi, and Tactical tries to make good on it into the back line, almost bursting them down. Not really that close though, as Closer comes in with the kick combo. They take down the Kaisa. Abbeddage even auto-attacked a ward during the middle of this in the back line. Still plenty of time for him to chase down the extra kills. And again, he still has not died since, so 11 kills now on that Ahri, legendary himself, and they've come to finish the job.
As long as you're hitting something right, and Abbeddage and the rest of the team have been hitting a lot. 2 bounties onto your biggest damage dealers. There's a depth charge rolling on through.
Okay.
See if they can capitalize. Once again, going on in, and exhaust used on to Takeover to try and keep this away. A good old smash from Huni, but can they follow up? There's no longer an FBI to worry about, but they lose their mid laner. They lose their support on the side of TSM, and they lose another one here. And 100 Thieves are feeling good even without their ADC, except Closer, he's pretty low. Sidestepping what Huni has brought through. Charm to get the triple kill for Abbeddage. Huni should be able to actually join the rest of them. Ssumday directly in the base. He takes down the Nexus turret. Oh no, TSM, if you can't make this stand, you have officially for the first time missed out on playoffs in the history of the organization. 100 Thieves out on top.
The top teams came out swinging today. Team Liquid, Cloud9, 100 Thieves, all picking up their wins. Super week here. Teams are getting serious, heading towards playoffs.
100 Thieves all the way across, empowering Ssumday with a Graves that has worked well, but Abbeddage on that Ahri. Some great charms, some great play, and Closer with some great setups as well.
I mean, 14 kills at the end here for Abbeddage on the Ahri. Closer, really good opening to the game. He had to full clear as Lee Sin all the way down to bottom side, and then works around his opponent's vision, still getting off the successful gank mid to set Abba on this roller coaster of a game on Ahri. 14-1 he ends, keeping his gold bounty for the next game.
6-game win streak for 100 Thieves as well. Fans rejoice. We are joining Pastry Time and Abbeddage for our